Check, check. So, hi. I'm Elijah Cepe of EC21 and I study in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas, and I'm currently taking up a undergrad course which is Electronics and Communication Engineering. So, this is my experiment 7 in my subject computer programming. So this experiment is all about functions. So part 1, a leap year writing your own function. So the objectives of this is familiarize the student with projecting and writing parameterized functions, utilizing the return statement and testing the functions. So let's start. So this is the scenario that was given to me for what I have to do. So my task is to write and test a function which takes one argument or a year and returns true if the year is a leap year or false otherwise. The seed of the function is already sown in the skeleton code in the editor, which is this. So note, we also prepared a short testing code which you can use to test your function. The code uses two lists, one with the test data and the other containing the expected results. The code will tell you if any of your results are invalid. So write your code and observation in the space provided below. So as you can see, the code is already here. So I already did this beforehand, this experiment. So this vlog would be not so taking up so much of both of our times, right? So I already did this to lessen the time of the video and for me to understand the code that with not being pressured by the time. No? So all I have to do is copy this and explain this to you. So some of the codes are already in this window. So all I have to do is to input or create my code, which is a create a function for this let's say this below is the data's method, which the function will be, how do I say this, well, kung saan niya gagamitin, kung the function is where the method will be executed. So as you can see, this is my variables, test data and test results here, which is an array to arrays, and 19,000 or 1,900 is, or years, this year's 4 years is paired with a false state, false. Next is 2000, which is true, 2016, which is true, and 1987, which is false. So false, true, true, false. So as we all know that a leap year happens in every 4 years, right? So in here, one of this data is paired with the wrong result. We'll see it later. Why did it became like that? So we get the different kinds of results, no? So we'll know which this scenario can what can it result to. So here, let's start. Def is a year leap. So if year modulo division 4, which is, we know that every leap year, every 4 years a leap year happens, right? So the reason why I chose modulo division because if the year is divisible by 4, then it is a leap year. So since modulo division only gets the whole number, right? So print year is leap year. This is for my debug, no? So we for this to be more specific, for you to be able to get what this program do. Then it's not a leap year, else as we can see 1987 is not divisible by 4, so we know that it is not a leap year, right? So let me explain how function works. In here, Python doesn't start with this function. Sorry. With the function, but with the variables, right? In this case, Python starts with this, and this line next to this. Then for I in range, length test data. So it depends on here. Year equals test data, right? This is the years. Then print year, arrow, and end. So next, for us to know the result, we made it a variable. Result is equals to is your leap, which is this. When this codes depends on this, right? Parang Tagalog salitan siya. So bale may kailangan nung ganito, pero partners, like their partners, right? So this is where the function kicks in. This is where the decoding happens, something like that. So if test results I, print result and test results. So again, this is for debugging, or I just added this for this to be specific. So print okay if it's a leap year. Then if the test results, print okay if the test result and test data matches, right? So failed if the year and the test results doesn't add up to each other. So let's run the code. And you can see 19,000 is a leap year. True and false, which leads to a fail, right? Then 2000 is a leap year since it's still divisible by 4. True and true is okay. So then 2016 divisible also by 4 is leap year. True and true. So 1987, false and false. Like false is saying that the year is not a leap year, right? So it says okay. In this case, this failed because let's say we thought that 19,000 is not a leap year, but actually it is. That's why it failed. So my observation, the codes below, which is test data onwards, are the main method of the function that was inputted, or which is the def, which is this group of code. To know if it is a leap year, all I have to do was give the condition modulo division, which is modulo division, where if it is divisible by 4, it is a leap year. But in some instance, one of the result is altered because of the value false, which results to a failed result. So next, part 2. How many days? Writing and using your own functions. Familiarize the student projecting the writing parameterized functions, utilizing the return statement, and utilizing the student's own functions. So your task is to write and test a function which takes two arguments, which is a year and a month, and returns the number of days for the given month year pair. While only for bar is sensitive to the year value, your function should be universal. The initial part of the function is ready. Now convince the function to return none if its argument don't make sense. Of course, and should use the previously written tested function. It may be very helpful. We encourage you to use a list filled with months lengths. You can create it inside the function. This trick will significantly shorten the code. So write your code and observation in the space provided below. So let me copy this. As you can see, in this type of scenarios, the codes are getting longer and longer. No? So this time we added another, let's say, variable, which is the year, which is the months, right? So in this scenario, I added since we added what do we call that? We added a function, so we added this def days in month, which is year for year and month. So leap year is year leap year. So in this case, let me maximize this. So in this case, my if is month 1, month 3, month 5, month 7, month 8, 10, and 12, which is the months that has 31 days in it. So I had to do some factoring out of the 12 months, which is in this case the number of months which has a complete 31 days in it. So in this 30, so 4 months that has only 30 days in it. So as we all know, February is the only month that has 28 days in it and 29 when it is a leap year. So that's a two different else if. So but this is where we only focus on, right? So else return if none. So as I said earlier, the code will start here. For it to get resolved, it will go to the days in month in function. So if it satisfies the condition, it will print okay, and it will print failed. I still added the debug codes strings for it to be still specific. So let me minimize this again. Run the code. See, 19,002, which means February, right, is a leap year, which is 29 and 28. 29 and 28 means true. If it means true, then it is true that it is a leap year, which is 29, right? And false if it's 28, or if I'm not mistaken, maybe it's the other way around. So next, 2000 year 2000 in the month February is a leap year also, 29 and 29, right? Which results in okay. 2016 is a leap year, 31 and 31, which results to okay, In 1987, in the month of November, is not a leap year. 30 and 30 falls, both falls. If it matches, then it results okay, and if it not, it results to a fail. So my observation when I did this earlier, I gave the month Feb its own function since it's the only month we care about. As you can see, not the its own function but its own group, a different else if, right? Because that's the only month that we're focusing in, which means the only month that indicates if it's a leap year, right? For us to know if it's a leap year, we'll always look at the month of February first, or in the year. At the same time, I factor out the months that has 31 days, 30 days, and 28, 29 days, which is Feb. And I reuse the previous function to know if it's a leap year or not. Right? In this group of codes, this is the new function that I added in. Everything else is what I used earlier in the first scenario, and I added this variable. Right? So part 3, day of the year, writing your own functions. Objectives: familiarize the students with projecting and writing parameterized functions, utilizing the return statement, building a set of utility functions, and utilizing the student-owned functions. Excuse me. Scenario: your task is to write and test a function which takes 3 arguments, a year, a month, and the day of the month, and returns the corresponding day of the year, or returns none if any of the arguments is invalid. Use the previously written tested functions. Add some test cases to the code. This test is only a beginning. So, in this case, we have to do a code. To do a code that this is how I understand it. I have to do a code which gives out the year, no wait, excuse me. When a date is inputted, right? Like a year, a group of date, which is a complete date actually, with a year, month, and day. The code needs to know if it's a leap year, which day of the year, and which month, right? Like something like that. Like if it's something like other people do in every new year, right? Every end of the year and start of the year, where they say like this, page 1 of 365, right? That's what I need to do. Then with the year given, the code should know if it's a leap year. So when it is a leap year, instead of over 365 days, it should be 366. So let's check the code. In here I added another function for the days. So this is what I added. Def day of year. Year, month, and day. Leap year equals is year leap year. If leap year equals true. So month array 1. So if you're thinking what this set of numbers are, this is the days which every month has in it. You can see January 3rd. This how it happens. January 31. Feb 29, March 31, right? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So month sum equals 0. Num of day equals 0. So I added this for it to know that it will always start from 0, right? Because this is a range. So for I in range, month minus 1. Y month minus 1. So if I say Feb, it will add up the 2 months. Okay. Let's say I give up Feb 2, right? Feb 2. If I put here month, it will add up the 2 months, which is 31 and 29, resulting it to a 60 days, right? Instead of 32 or 33, right? Month minus 1. So if I inputted Feb, this wouldn't be added up. So right, this is its only range. Month minus 1. So where num of day, so month sum, right? Month sum plus month array. 0, right? Month sum which is 0, month array which is 31. Minus 1, it should be 31 plus 29, but minus 1, 31. Where num of day is month sum, which is this, is 31 plus the day that has inputted with the date that was given will be added up, that to fill for it to make something like that, para mag-add up siya, diba? Kasi kulang, kasi hindi naman lahat ng not all of the days of the month is used, but it only adds up the days that have passed, right? So return now day of 366 if it is a leap year. Then in here, the month Feb is 28. This happens when it is not a leap year. So when it is true, leap year is equals true, then not leap year is equals false. Same condition, so an else, return if none. So this is the set of date that was given in the window, and these two dates is just added up by me for you to see other dates, right? Then oops, I added the observation. Let me erase this. So here we have to run the code, and boom, the year 2000 is a leap year. Since it is divisible by 4, so the month is 2000 December and 31, so which is the last day of the year of a leap year, so 366 of 366. 2015 is not divisible by 4, so it is not a leap year, but the date was given January 1, so 1 of 365. Then The year 2008 is a leap year because it is a divisible by 4. So, the month and the day was given, which is Feb 1, so 32 of 366. This is what I am explaining to you, the month minus 1. So, by observations, in this I added the death day of year. Sorry. Yes. Uh-huh. Observation. In this, I added the def day of year, where in this function, I have to make an array, which consists of days of every month and made an range for me to get the accurate days that has elapsed in the given date. With the use of previous functions, I have determined whether if it's a leap year or not. So, that's all for this experiment. Thank you and take care.